Thank you. I'm an old dog today. When I got to these rooms, I wasn't. I was 34. I'm in my 80s now. I got clean in 1977. My name is Vicky, and I'm clean today, but I have not always been sane. A little bit about where I came from. My heart's beating. I'm not a speaker. I just don't do too well. But the bottom line is, I hope somebody gets something out of it. That no addict has to die of this disease. You know, I always came from the mind, never my spirit, because I didn't know that God lived in my spirit. So I got clean in Bay Cities a year before we had our area. And that was in 1976. And we got our area in Bay Cities in 1976. I got clean in 1977. So it went all the way, and I was sharing this the other day, that Bay Cities went all the way from, God, I can't think. This is what happens, you know. It went all the way to Long Beach, all the way around, all the coast, all the way to Malibu. We were in Santa Monica. That was our area, because at that time there was only Orange County and the valley, where it all began, in the valley. So when I got here, I came here for a friend of mine, because I had tried the program Alcoholics Anonymous in 1975. My husband was in the joint, and so my girlfriend's brother-in-law, he 12-stepped us. So I went to the meeting. I could not relate to any of those people. The people that I were attracted to, they didn't wear those high school jackets, I'll put it that way. Letterman jackets. I was not attracted to those kind of people. You know, I was attracted to the bad boys, you know. And I, you know, as a kid, I was a latchkey kid, me and my sister. And we hung around people that were going to youth authority. You know, running around in hot cars, laughing, smoking ha-ha. And if you don't know what ha-ha is, it's weed. You know, because it used to make me laugh. You know, it's like if the man who's behind me, don't look. Oh, really? You know, and I had a good teenager life. I was all about having fun. And then I started, then I hooked up with my first husband, my son's dad, and he was a lunatic. You know, I was always attracted to people that were crazier than me. If they had a mustache and no job, fine. You know, and so anyway, that didn't last, but I got a beautiful son out of it. And then I hooked it up with somebody else, and that took me to another dimension, because I started shooting heroin, and I loved it. I loved it, you know. It did for me what I couldn't do for myself, and I did it for a long time. And I had, there was 14 of us. All my brother-in-laws, there was 6 of them. And then my sister, she's a dope fiend too, and her husband's. So we were all arguing all the time who was going to get down first, you know. And lucky you didn't have to beat a cotton, you know. But I got to these rooms, like I said, in 1977 for a friend of mine, and that's when loads were out, and he was on methadone. I was on methadone at one time. I got kicked off the program. You know, because I could never get a clean test. I thought everybody should get on methadone, to tell you the truth. You know, because you could fix on the weekends and you wouldn't be sick and, you know, and all that. Everything that goes with it. I was crazy when I got to these rooms. Anyway, my friend died. He died of an overdose of loads. And I ended up staying. And that's how I got here. There was very few treatment programs. And I didn't want anybody in my fucking mind. Because I knew if you knew what was going on in my mind, they'd be sending me to Patton State Hospital, you know, because I was insane. So I kept myself, I guess you'd say I kept a low profile, you know. But back in the day, nobody had any time, and nobody had a good car. You know, I mean, my car got me to meetings, but I mean, it didn't have a back window in it. You know, it was metal flake. I bought it for $50, so you can imagine what it looked like. But it got me to the grocery store, you know, and I went and I hung out with my girlfriend, Sarah, God bless her, she passed away, and we'd go to meetings, and I went to meetings every day. I went to 3 meetings a day, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. Back in the day, like I said, they didn't have that many treatment programs. So we'd get the hotline, people would call the hotline, and whoever's name was on that list, they would go pick them up and take them to a meeting. And that's the way it was back in the day. It's not that way today. You know, it's not that way today. That's a whole different ballgame. But, and so I had a few people on my couch. I wouldn't put anybody on my couch today. You know, I wouldn't have a TV, you know. But that's what we did, and we took people to meetings. One time we went, me and my sponsor, I still have the same sponsor, 47 years down the line, still have the same sponsor. And we've gone through hell and back together, and she knows everything about me, but it took me a long time to give it up too, because I didn't really want to put my business out there, because where I came from, you didn't put your business out there, you know. And so anyway, where am I at? Oh, I went to a 12-step call. And this girl lived in Malibu. Well, my sponsor's husband opened up a sober living in Hermosa Beach. And because they were very into putting people on their couches, and that's what we did back in the day. And we'd go to the Friday night meeting, and then after the meeting, the business meeting, then we'd go to the house. Well, went to that house, and we'd get 12-step calls at that house. And who wants to go on a 12-step call? I'd go, me. And the reason I was where I was at that time, it doesn't matter the drug you used, I related to the pain. I related to the pain. So I did H&I for over 40 years, and I found my niche, and that was it. You know, and I still go on panels, I still go to meetings, I still use my sponsor. I've learned more about me, and you know, I always understand that fear and faith don't dwell in the same house. You know, you're gonna have your day in the barrel, you know, when shit hits the fan. And if you don't have any, I always call it putting money in the bank, because you're gonna have to make a draw. And let me tell you, when my son 2 years ago had a stroke, it dropped me to my fucking knees, man. You know, and I went, where's my faith? Where is my faith, man? I prayed and prayed, and you know, the apple don't fall far from the tree, because my son had his addiction too. He was the first client here at Fred Brown's. He stayed clean for 2 years, got in a relationship, and that we don't have relationships, we have hostages. Yeah. You know? That's really the bottom line. We have hostages. And so, anyway, I knew Fred. I remember when Fred opened up the treatment center, and I was working in West LA, in outpatient, and I did that a long time. And then I came here to Fred Brown's, and here I'd been a counselor for 15 years, and I thought I knew. I didn't know shit, you know. And Al was also one of the founders, and I worked underneath him for a year. I sat in his meeting, his group, for a year, and I didn't open my mouth. I wanted to learn the process, and he taught me the process. And I believe in the process today. You know, I'm not here to save anybody's life. You know, I was here to help the client help themselves. And that's really the long and short of it. Because people are going to do what they're going to do. You tell them not to do it, I know, because I was the same way. Don't do that, Vicky. Well, I did because you told me not to. You know, just because you told me not to, I was going to do it. But I got clean, and I'm so grateful for it's like I've had 2 lives, you know, and through my own experiences, you know, helping others helps me. Clients have always helped me. You know, sometimes I couldn't identify my feelings for a long time. I couldn't put labels on them. But when I'd hear somebody share their feelings, I could relate to that, and they taught me how to feel. You know, this in the rooms here at Fred Brown's taught me how to hug. I'm not a hugger. You know, my girlfriend always hugs me. I'm going to hug you anyway, Vicky. Well, I think that started when I was going through the change of life and I'd be sweating bullets. And I didn't want to hug you because I didn't want my cheek to be stuck on yours. So there's just so much to learn here. And not everybody's going to stay here. They're not. That's reality. You know, I've gone to so many. I went to a memorial just this past weekend. My friend on the program, he lost his son at 32 years old, you know, and he wasn't an addict, but he got cancer and he passed away. So I went just to be supportive of him. And that's what we do here. You know, we support one another. And, you know, this is I was called Narcotics Anonymous. It's a house of pain. And it's also the house of joy. You know, and I'm so grateful that I got here because I lost all my brother-in-laws except for one got here and stayed here, and he went out, and after 20 years, he got clean on my couch. And my husband died of this disease, and all the others died too of this disease. This is no joke, man. This is serious business, man. It really is. You know, it's not just going through a treatment program. It's what are you going to do when you get out of here? Yes. You know, and you may get loaded if you don't die. My sponsor's husband told me one time when I told her myself, because I was getting loaded, smoking haha. I wasn't putting a harpoon in my arm, so I thought that was all right, you know. And he said, Vicky, it's a natural state of mind for an addict to be loaded. The problem is that when you do get loaded, you open that door and you may not get back. And I never forgot that. And when me and my sponsor went to this step call in Malibu, beautiful home, this girl said she was dope sick. Well, they took her to that house in Manhattan Beach, and she's coming down the stairs with a sweater on, and she's supposed to be kicking. And I told my sponsor, I mean, she ain't dope sick. She goes, how can you say that, Vicky? And I said, because she's got fucking eyebrows on. If you're sick, you ain't gonna put makeup on. That's for damn sure. You know? Really. And she was a trip, really. She was a trip. But anyway, I just believe that if you want this thing, it's here. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you've done. It's what I want to do today, and that's stay clean and carry the message. And that's what it says in the literature. Everything else you get from staying clean is a blessing. But it says it in our literature. My primary purpose is to stay clean and carry the message to the addict that still suffers. Everything else is a benefit. And that's what I've done, and I still do it. It doesn't mean that I'm sane most of the time, you know, but I have some information that was given to me in these rooms, you know, and I truly believe them because they told me the truth. And I wasn't ready to hear the truth. You know, it's like the truth. I didn't know I could believe the lie. If somebody told me they had some good gal, I believed them. You know, I believed them. And it could have been bunk. But yet somebody in these rooms will tell me the truth, and I don't believe shit. You know, I mean, I have fallen down so many times, but I didn't get loaded. You know, life is, I'm an old lady now. I'm old, I'm up in years, and every day I wake up, man, I'm grateful. I am so grateful. This is a program for the living, not to exist. I was existing. I ended up in those places, and I wanted to go to the joint. It's not a prerequisite to go to the joint. You know, I wanted to go, and I was telling Roxy, I wanted to go because I could learn how to knit. You know, I could get my high school diploma, you know. But my sister, like I said, my sister did. She went to TI when the women were at Terminal Island, and she got all that. You know, me, I was just, when I woke up, the second steps could restore me to sanity. You know, it's like, I didn't think about being insane. I was so detached from my feelings. I was just like, I was one of those dope fiends. If somebody overdosed, I wanted to know where they got their drugs. That's what I wanted to know. You know, anyway, I've said enough. 15 minutes, I might have even gone over. But if you're here in these rooms and you have the opportunity to be in a treatment program, You know, you're so fortunate to get here. You really are. Pay attention. Your life depends on it. Thank you.